Welcome back to our channel, where we dive into the fascinating world of coins and currency from across the globe. Today, we're going on a journey into South Africa's history, looking at a very special coin, the 1965 South Africa 2-cent coin. At first glance, it might seem like just a small bronze coin. But when we explore deeper, this coin tells the story of South Africa's transition from the British colonial monetary system to its own rand-based system, a reflection of national identity, economy, and politics of the 1960s. By the end of this video, you'll understand not just the design and symbolism of the 2-cent coin, but also why 1965 was such an important year for South Africa's coinage, how this coin fits into the bigger picture of South African history, and what makes it valuable to collectors today. So, let's begin. Chapter 1, the historical context of 1965. To understand the 2-cent coin, we first need to understand South Africa in 1965. South Africa was under the system of apartheid, the government's official policy of racial segregation and white minority rule, which began formally in 1948. By 1965, apartheid was deeply entrenched, and South Africa had left the British Commonwealth after declaring itself a republic in 1961. This meant that South Africa was no longer tied politically to the British Crown, and naturally, this separation also influenced its currency system. Before 1961, South Africa used the South African pound, which was linked to the British system of pounds, shillings, and pence. But with the establishment of the Republic, South Africa decided to adopt a new, modern currency system based on the decimal system, similar to what Australia and New Zealand did in the same period. Thus, in 1961, the rand was born. Chapter 2, from pounds to rand. The rand became the official currency of South Africa on February 14, 1961, a symbolic date, marking independence from the British system. 1 rand was equal to 10 shillings, or half a pound. The rand was divided into 100 cents, making it simpler to calculate than the old system of shillings and pence. This decimalization marked a major shift, and new coin denominations had to be introduced to fit the new currency. Among them was the 2-cent coin, a small but essential part of everyday transactions. The first issues of the 2-cent coin appeared in 1961, but by 1965, the design was well established and widely circulated. Chapter 3, the design of the 1965 2-cent coin. Now let's take a closer look at the coin itself. Obverse front side. The obverse features the portrait of Jan van Riebeeck, the Dutch colonial administrator who founded Cape Town in 1652. Van Riebeeck was chosen as a national symbol of Afrikaner heritage, reflecting the ruling government's emphasis on European settler identity. Around the portrait, the coin displays the country's name in both English and Afrikaans, South Africa, and SUID Africa. The date 1965 is also prominently displayed. Reverse back side. The reverse depicts two sparrows perched on a branch, an elegant and simple design symbolizing natural beauty and harmony. Below the birds is the denomination, 2C, marking its value of 2 cents. The bird's design was created by the renowned artist Cecil Walter de Jager, who was responsible for several coin designs of the period. The coin is made of bronze, with a smooth edge, and weighs approximately 5.67 grams with a diameter of 25.5 millimeters. Chapter 4, symbolism and national identity. Every element of this coin was carefully chosen to reflect the South African government's priorities in the 1960s. Jan van Riebeeck's portrait was a strong symbol of Afrikaner nationalism. He was considered the founder of European settlement in South Africa, and his image became almost iconic during the apartheid era. The use of two languages, English and Afrikaans, acknowledged the two dominant European groups in the country while excluding indigenous African languages, reflecting the unequal policies of the government. The sparrows added a softer, more universal element to the design, highlighting South Africa's rich natural environment and wildlife heritage. So, the coin wasn't just money, it was also a political and cultural statement. Chapter 5, the economy of South Africa in the 1960s. The 1965 2-cent coin also tells us about the economy of the time. During the 1960s, South Africa experienced economic growth, largely driven by mining, particularly gold and diamonds. The rand was strong and internationally respected, often compared to the British pound in value. the 2-cent coin was used for small, everyday purchases, buying a newspaper, a loaf of bread, or small household items. Even though 2 cents might seem insignificant today, in 1965 it held real purchasing power. Chapter 6, Collectability and Value. Now, let's talk about what collectors today think of the 1965 2-cent coin. Factors that affect its value include: 1. Condition. Grade. Coins in mint state, with no scratches or circulation wear, are far more valuable than worn examples. Point 2. Rarity. The 1965 issue is not particularly rare, as millions were minted for circulation. However, uncirculated pieces and proof sets are harder to find. Point 3. Historical interest. Coins from the apartheid era are increasingly collected for their historical significance, even if they are not scarce. Estimated values. Approximate circulated condition, a few cents to $1 USD, uncirculated condition, $5 to $15 USD, proof version, up to $30 or more, depending on demand. So, while it may not be an extremely rare or expensive coin, its historical and cultural value makes it highly collectible. Chapter 7, Legacy of the 1965 2-cent coin. Today, South Africa no longer uses the 2-cent coin. It was eventually phased out as inflation reduced its buying power. However, the coin remains an important reminder of a pivotal era in South Africa's history, the establishment of the rand, the assertion of Afrikaner nationalism, and the way money can reflect politics, identity, and society. Collectors and historians alike value it as a piece of history, not just for its bronze composition, but for the story it tells about South Africa in the mid-20th century. Conclusion. The 1965 South Africa 2-cent coin may be small, but it represents a time of great change. From the birth of the rand to the assertion of national identity, it holds within it the history of a country in transition.